Hey, Robbie and Josh, as you know, I make my annual trek back to Iowa, where I grew up, and it was pretty obvious to me this summer headed back that Mother Nature hasn't given up yet on weed control and or or resistance, if you will. You don't know for sure based on the being driving down the highway, but certainly looked like farmers were struggling to control weeds. But I think also they've had a lot of customers framing up with them that it that that the choices made this over this past year because of some of the new programs that are in the market, if you will. That there's a big debate going on at the retail and grower level, and I imagine with our own sales team around what is the best decision? How do I play this out? And after seeing some of the performance things, I think maybe it is a justified discussion.
God, I think you're right. I think my time in North Carolina has a very similar outcome that you said with your trip back to Iowa. I mean, talking with my family who's been farming a long time and friends in the community farming, everybody's still facing those challenges. I mean, let's face it, farming's tough. It's a hard job, and there haven't been a lot of favors in the last couple of years with commodity price and with just challenging environment. And so making the right decisions is very important. And I heard quite a few stories from both farmers, retailers alike that said there's been some decisions made lately on something that was probably not the best agronomic decision. All farmers are trying to make right decisions, and then they hear that perhaps they can get a rebate or less dollar off, or more dollar rather off on a product. And I think some people made some decisions based on that. And I think some of those people are really rethinking that right now. And I was really interested to hear conversations with my neighbor who said something about that. And he said, hey, you know what? It's too many people trying to play the easy button game, take dollars off, as opposed to let's talk about making the right decision up front. So I think that is a widespread topic, and I'm glad we're talking about it because I think it's the reality of dealing with the hard decisions of running a farm in this day and time.
I've been there. I think back when I was in retail in southeastern Pennsylvania, and I'd say my time when I started there was a little different than when I ended. As a new retail agronomist, it was a lot harder to have those tougher agronomic conversations when we always think that price is in the back of everyone's mind and we have to get to the lowest price. But, it takes a while to realize that prices in every single sales conversation has been since the dawn of time. But anything that you want to sell, price always comes into it. And it took a while for me to really realize that value is what our farmers need from us as agronomists, as retailers, as manufacturers. They need the products that are going to perform for them. And man, I learned it the hard way when I was taking that easy button approach and allowing the price to be the primary focus in those conversations and drive the programs that we selected or the products that we selected down to get the price down. The expectation performance at the end of the season did not change. And so what I was left with was, we saved some money up front, or we got that product that had the rebate for us, but the performance wasn't there. And then it was a lot harder conversation at the end of the season. And so I just go back to that during these times right now too. I mean, obviously commodity prices and everything weigh into it, but it doesn't change the fact that farmers need performance. They farm for productivity. They farm for profitability. They don't farm to save money. And we need to make sure that we always have that in the back of our minds when we're making any recommendation, bringing any new product to market.